let's get into some pro 2v2 ranked replays. There's going to be two main characters in these ones. One of them, and the reason why we're doing these particular replays today, is Joreuz, who's going to be joining myself and Smellsworth on the Saltcast podcast immediately after I cast these three games. So here is Joreuz POV. He's playing with none other than ApparentlyJack, his now teammate, and they're up against Nachitao and Demensa. Now, wasn't Nachitao scrimming with Demensa and Atomic for the Magnifico spot that's been left open with Greasy's departure? Was that a thing? I believe it was a thing, but I don't know if it ended up happening. What, didn't Magnifico run with VK Salen instead recently? But I believe for a while they were scrimming with Nachitao. So, I got a chance to watch some Jack and Joreuz 2v2 games on, I believe it was Joreuz's Twitch channel. Jack and Joreuz, they both stream fairly often on Twitch, and I was watching the Joreuz POV once when he was streaming some 2v2 games with Jack, and he had a comment on their 2v2 gameplay, which I've heard many times in the past. Oh, was save. That was a great save, actually, by Demensa there. Yeah, Joreuz's comment on their 2v2 games is that they either destroy their opponents or they get destroyed by their opponents. Now, I'm not sure if these games are going to follow that pattern. We'll have to wait and see. But it's quite a common thing to for pro players, and also just for anybody to say about, you know, pre-made ranked 2v2 when you queue up with a buddy. The games that are most memorable are the games where you absolutely smash the opponents, or the games where you guys just get completely destroyed, because, you know, when you smash your opponents, it's almost like it proves to you, yeah, look at that, we are good as a team, just like Joreuz and Jack are here. Infield pass from Joreuz to Jack. We're going to be watching all these games from Joreuz's perspective, by the way. I have left it on his POV the entire time here. But, you know, likewise, even though the one-sided wins are really memorable, the one-sided losses are equally memorable. It's almost like Crisis. You guys are like, wait, what's going on? Why are we losing? We're supposed to be good as teammates. We're supposed to be a good duo, and now we're just getting destroyed. But it happens to the best as well. Joreuz and Jack, definitely two of the most mechanical players in Europe. Definitely very dangerous 2v2 players, even to each other, apparently, as Joreuz clatters Jack, who's coming out in the net to make a save. Am I not doing any live show matches anymore? Well, you, my friend, will be, if you are under that impression, you'll be very interested to hear about Salt Mine Underground, a live show match event that is happening on my channel next Wednesday, the 11th of November. We're going to have 6 live show matches in a row. Winner of each of them takes $1,000, and the loser will take $250 every time. Huge, well, probably the biggest show match night that we've ever had, and that's only the first. We're going to have 8 of them. Good beat there, Jack leaving Joreuz with an open net. Rixor, somebody earlier on in chat told me that Forky and AJ played a whole bunch of ranked ones. Who won though? Who got points? Who climbed? Who fell? What was the win-loss? Who is the player or streamer with the least mechanical ability / best game sense and positioning at high level? The least mechanical ability / best game sense. I love that you just put those two things together as if they have to be correlate. Forky climbed. AJ won 4 or 5 more games. Okay, so AJ must have started off higher rated, and even though he won more games, Forky climbed. Is that what happened? So kind of a win for both of them, I guess, and also a loss for both of them. It's Jesse. I would not say Jesse for the in answer to that question. I think, you know, I mean, did you say pro player with the worst mechanical skill? Who is the player or streamer with the least mechanical skill? Well, I mean, you're quite vague there. Let's just go with me for least mechanical skill. I'll take that one so that nobody else has to take that title and feel bad about it, because I genuinely don't really mind. Best game sense. Bit of a vague term there, game sense. I mean, I'm not entirely sure what you mean by that, because we might have different understandings of that phrase. But these days I've just become even more of a Fairy Peak fan. I think that's not just because of his game sense though. Fairy Peak seems to have gotten faster mechanically and more confident. in his play recently, as evidenced by his recent 1v1 performances in Goldmine. But even before that, I was aware that he was getting better. I was tuning into his stream every now and then, looking at his performances in his own ranked games and his 3v3 matches from the field, and it was pretty clear. It's pretty clear to anybody who's watching Fairy recently that he is improving still, even to this day. He's not just relying fully on positioning and game sense and knowledge and all this stuff that people think he relies on just because they've never seen him score a flip reset goal. No, Fairy Peak's mechanics are legit. He is insane. Insane mechanically now. He's definitely climbed, in my opinion, mechanically. Super fast player. Very, very good in aerial defense in particular. But yeah, he's also incredibly smart. He's very, very good at positioning and playing off his teammates. Well, okay, there's game one. We had a big win there for Joreuz and Jack over Demensa and Achitai. I saw there were a few more replays of these guys on ballchasing.com, and I've not got those for you guys today because I wanted to get a mixture of matches. But if you guys do want to see more matches from Joreuz Jack against Demensa and Achitai, head to ballchasing.com, search any of their names under the Pro Player 2v2 section, and you'll be able to find them. But anyway, let's move into another one here. This is the same team for Joreuz and Jack. I don't think they're queuing up together though. And this time they're against FairJame and Steak. Now FairJame, I believe, is a 1v1 player coming out of KSA. Based on that ping, it would be very likely that he is. We've casted a series of ranked games. He played against Khalid before, and he played very well. I've also seen him farming Scrubkilla on Scrubkilla's channel in 1v1. So FairJame is definitely a very high level ones player. And Steak, the keyboard and mouse legend from Vodafone Giants. Really cool to when I learned that he was another KBM player. Darth Squirrel, thanks for the 3-month prime. Welcome to the channel. Really appreciate that. And Mr. Swaggly, thanks for the 17-month tier 1. Welcome to the channel to you as well. You didn't know Steak was KBM? Yeah, me neither. I didn't know until he told me right before the Regional 2 EU Grand Final. It was Giants against BDS, and Steak wrote in the chat. I think me and him were the first two to join the lobby, or him and I should say. And he just said in chat, Johnny, do you know I'm a KBM player? I was like, no, what? So that definitely surprised me. So Octane Joreuz in this game. I think Octane Joreuz is slightly lower than the terrifying level compared to Fennec Joreuz. I don't know why. I think the Fennec Joreuz is just... Well, I'm more used to seeing Fennec Joreuz do crazy things and pull them off. Octane Joreuz is a bit sillier. Maybe a bit smoother with the movement, as most Octane players are. Tasty Sweets, thanks for the 3-month prime, really appreciate that. One thing you'll notice, guys, from like pro level 2v2 games compared to you know, the 2v2 games at lower level. Oh my goodness, FaceHall just destroyed Jack. What a mind game. Really nicely done. I was gonna just highlight there, and that's a really good play to talk about it on, is that pro players are much more willing to just take themselves out of the game for, you know, a couple of seconds and just let their teammates solo defend. And the reason for that is pro players, well, players at this level are all very good at stalling. You know, in order to get into a very high rating in 2v2, you need to be extremely adept at stalling while waiting for your teammate to come back. Now, I actually am of the opinion that if 2v2 was a main competition game mode, just like 3v3 is in Rocket League, we would see a much more passive style of play in pro matches than what you're used to seeing in ranked matches. Ranked, everybody's playing extremely aggressively, extremely fast, and just trying to practice their mechanics and be as quick as possible. You know, the way that I consider 2v2 ranked for pro players is mechanical practice. However, yeah, in 2v2 tournament play, more defensive play where, you know, the two players in a team are moving around as a unit and they're never leaving each other isolated, would be, I think, a better way to play if there was lots of money on the line or a big tournament on the line. It's not Faisal, it's Faisal. That might be an accent thing, because there was actually a guy called what we would say Faisal at in my university course years and years ago, and everybody called him Faisal. So maybe it's just a different. Maybe Faisal is the correct pronunciation for Saudi Arabian Faisal. But yeah, I actually had I knew a Faisal, and that's how he said his name, and it was spelled the same way. So it might be a different. Maybe it's a different pronunciation for different. Ooh, that's off the bar. Joreuz, you better go save that one. Yeah, it might be a different pronunciation for different locations. My pronunciation is correct. Guy in chat is lost. Correct. The way I say it is correct. Both right. Yeah, I think it could be just different for different locations. Maybe Faisal is a way to pronounce it for a different country. I've not actually asked this player himself. I've never talked to him. Yeah, what do you guys think? If we got 2v2, big 2v2 competition, would players be lunging in for solo plays as often as they do in ranked? Joreuz and Jack are a good example of this. They pretty regularly leave each other alone in defense so that they can go and make a solo challenge while the other one's going back for boost. Now, you got to remember, good chance that one of them is streaming at the moment in these games, so they're not going to be paying all that much attention to the game. They're going to be just, reading their chat, talking to the chat. That's good boost steals by Stake right there. Too bad Faisal couldn't hit the reset shot. Looked bad for Joreuz and Jack. Yeah, you'll have to. They're actually from Joreuz was a better idea. You see that fake challenge? He was the last man back, so he didn't want to throw himself into a challenge there, because if it went badly, it would have simply been a goal. Good bump, well played by Joreuz again. But when I'm complimenting Joreuz for the fake challenge when he's the last man back there in 2v2. You don't as often see fake challenges from the first man in 2v2, which is something I think is probably a mistake. And if 2v2 was played competitively beyond ranked, I think we would start seeing a lot more fake challenges from the initial challenging player, and less huge dunk attempts, big reads where they try and get an interception as early as possible. More conservative style is, I think, the way to go if you guys want to have the best success in your games. But you have to remember, pro players, they don't really care too much about their rank in general. I mean, yeah, they do, but that's not the real reason, the main reason that they're playing. They're obviously playing to win, and they want to win games. But the style that they want to win with is just, mechanical, fast, let's warm up the mechanics, let's try and level up in that regard so they can become better players in 3v3. Which is why 2v2 is a bit more ball chasey and a bit more aggressive. It's more similar to 3v3 than 1v1, I would say. Like 2v2 is much closer to 3v3 than 1s. Even though it's right in the middle in terms of how many players are on the field. Yeah, it might go more towards 1v1 if there's another big 2v2 event, like a Universal Open. Yeah, Boreas, I Love Boreas, it's so great. RLCS Fusion, please. Yeah, RLCS with 1v1 and 2v2 included would be amazing. I would love to see that. Like multi-discipline events. I mean, right now it's been pretty successful, I would say. If this season of RLCS has shown us anything, it's that people will watch a ton of Rocket League. I mean, Rocket League's numbers are doing better than ever on Twitch, despite the fact that it's all 3v3. It's all very, very similar content. So I actually think, in the future, something that RLCS could do to expand even further and to become an even more watchable esport is to have 1v1, 2v2 and 3v3 tournaments all going on simultaneously. Oh, okay, let's get into game 3 here now. A bit of a change up. We have a Joreuz and Jack against various high-level opponents in the previous games, but now we have Joreuz against Jack. So Joreuz is with FakeOut, who is a former GFIN Elite Series player. I think, has he ever been in RLRS? I can't remember if FakeOut's been in RLRS, but he was in a bubble team. He was in the top bubble teams for a long, long time. Very solid player. And Layrink, so I believe I've never casted before. So I would give Joreuz and FakeOut the edge in this one, just because I know more about FakeOut. Can you be the name if we were watching on the screen? It's Joreuz. That's who we're watching. Let's see if he can beat Jack here. Ooh, very aggressive move. I don't think the defense expected that one. What I think of 2v2 style, where you basically turn it into 1v1 play each time and have one person rotating behind you at all times instead of it being more like 3v3. Okay, probably my philosophy, in the most simple terms, would describe optimal 2v2 play as more like 3v3 in defense, more like 1v1 in offense. That is how optimal 2v2 would look, I believe. Infield passing plays. Oh, what a shot by Joreuz. That was insane. 3v3 style backboard plays and infield passing plays and, just 3v3 style offense, in my opinion, is far too risky for competitive 2v2, especially at lower level. Way, 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 way too risky. The aerial game is completely obsolete compared to the ground game at lower level because of how risky it is. Now, at higher level, the aerial game no longer relies on teammates. You can make solo plays in the air. Just take a look at current 1v1 meta and what's possible there. So, yeah, looking at 1v1, when I say 2v2 should try and copy 1v1 style offense, that doesn't mean ground game. It just means solo plays. So solo plays in offense, I think, are better. But in defense, it's all about 3v3 style defense. You've got to try and work as a unit. Passing in defense in 2v2 is incredibly, incredibly powerful. Like, defensive infield passes in 2v2 are far more effective than offensive infield passes, because they accomplish the same thing, but there's far less risk involved. In general. Obviously, everything I'm saying is very situational. Oh, what a piece of control by Joreuz. 2-0. Beating his new teammate now. 2v2 is basically tag team. I wouldn't not necessarily. I wouldn't really say that. I mean, I can see what you mean, but not, in my opinion, not really. 2v2 is just perfectly balancing tasks. You have lots of tasks to do, and you need to make sure that between you all the tasks are covered. Tasks in defense, such as, do we have the goal covered? Do we have the passing option covered? Do we have the shooting option covered? Do we have the mind game option covered? Now, between you'd usually want to, cover the shot and the mind game with one player, and then cover the pass and the goal with the other player. That's, a good distribution of tasks in 2v2 defense. But then when it comes to offense, you've got one player making a play on the on the ball and trying to make a play on the enemy goal, while the other player, tries to prevent any interceptions from coming through for the other team, and also tries to prevent any counterattacks from starting, tries to follow up on any open nets that might occur. But the solo player is making a play on the goal also has to recover as quickly as possible, because the faster he recovers, the more options offensively there are for his teammate who's waiting behind him to aggress. Right there, FakeOut moved up pretty aggressively. That was almost a mistake. It probably was a mistake, but it wasn't punished. Because he was thinking, oh yeah, Joreuz is going for this, let me follow up on him. Didn't think what could go wrong if Joreuz lost the 50-50, which is what happened. Hey, Grim Darkflame, thanks for the 38-month Brian, welcome back, dude. RLCS 1v1, how about some Pro 4v4 in the Fishbowl Stadium with the demo and contacts and all Rumble items? Now that is why you, my friend, are not on the RLCS esports committee. Welcome back though, man, how you doing? Joreuz is here in chat. Oh, Joreuz, I just saw your Steam message, by the way. But I don't know if my Shift tab overlay is currently being streamed, so I didn't open it up. But I'll send you a link to Discord in a couple of minutes, okay? Won't be long. Take a look at you absolutely styling on Jack real quick. Oh my goodness. That was speedy. That was pretty speedy. Tag team is going to mean you take turns on the ball each time, basically 1v2 with backup. Well, kind of, but again, not really. The reason I don't like the term tag team for 2v2 is because it's a bit too vague. Bit too vague. Sometimes you both make a play on the ball at the same time. You don't tag team at all. And what you want to do is, if the other team have the ball, one of you will fake a challenge, and then the other player will actually challenge on a slight delay. That way, the slightly delayed challenge is more likely to connect because they have more time to read what the opponent and see what the opponent is doing. Whereas the fake challenge, which had it been a real one, would have probably been too early for the read to be successful. Do you know what I mean? Like sometimes you want to both make a play on the ball, except one of you just recovers. You fake a play and recover. And yeah, you're gonna say, but hey, that's tag team. You're not really making a play. You're just tag teaming your teammate in. But I don't know. It's way too fast paced. I think tag team doesn't do it justice. Good game. So Joreuz is looking pretty clean in twos. All the Pro 2v2 rank games that I've looked at recently have pretty much followed the similar sort of formula, and that is predominantly solo plays in offense. I think that's the way to go in 2v2, making solo plays in offense. However, defensively, I think 2v2 has a long way to go in order to level up. If it's going to become as high level as 3v3 and 1v1, 2v2 defense is where the improvements are to be made. I think the offense in 2v2 is pretty good, pretty high level. I don't think it would change much if there was a huge 2v2 competition. Defense would look very different. There would not be big diving pre-jump challenges on someone who might be about to start an air dribble. Wouldn't happen. Never would happen. It would always be a fake challenge. Low 2v2, low rank 2s is too heavy rotation. Then it's a tag team. Yeah, very low rank 2v2, you'll see that, one player will go to challenge the ball, and then if they don't get a successful challenge, they'll rotate out. They'll just leave, which is actually the wrong play. The right play is to ball chase in that situation. Like if you go to tackle someone and they dribble you in 2v2, the right play 99% of the time is to ball chase. It's not to rotate. The right play is to ball chase. But most low-level players don't know that. They just saw a video about rotation at one time on YouTube, so they rotate, and then they think they're doing a good job, and they think they know how to position. That's outdated. Ball chasing is the new meta. Not even that new anymore, but it is the current meta.